I am live, everyone. Hello, 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 friends. Happy Thursday. Your girl Janice is live. Hopefully, you guys can see and hear me. When I'm going live at night, y'all, I have to go live in another part of my house where my kids cannot see or hear because they will bust in the room if they think that I am home. So I have to go live in a different wing of my entire home. But I think it's cute down here. This is actually where one of my au pairs used to stay, and I think it's really cute. The background is cute. So we're going to make it do what it do. So anyway, welcome, welcome, welcome to the live. Happy Thursday. We are almost um we're almost done with the week, so that's exciting. We're in a new month, so that's exciting. So a lot of things are happening and a lot of things are going on. So before I get into it, I would love for you guys to drop in the comments where you guys are logging in from. And if you are watching the replay, you can tell me in the comments where you guys are from, where you guys plan on opening a beauty supply store. In the comments. I am logging in from Queens, New York. I have a little bit of sniffles as well. So the allergies are they doing what it's supposed to do. These allergies is crazy. It's crazy this year. I don't know. It just gets worse each year if I'm being honest. The allergies get crazy. But anyway, I am logging in from Queens, New York. So let me know in the chat where you guys are logging in from. I always like to know where people are logging in from, where people are watching me from. So, I have three things that I want to talk about and teach you guys tonight. And also, guys, if you have questions, I also call this a Q&A. So if you have questions on anything that has to do with the beauty supply industry, the beauty industry, retail, anything like that that you have been thinking about, you can go ahead and drop it in the comments and I can go ahead and answer the questions too. Because I just like doing Q&As. So, oh, awesome. Hey, ladies. So we have New Orleans in the building and Kansas City. Welcome, welcome. So, I was in New Orleans, what was it, last month? Did a meet and greet in New Orleans. That is one of my favorite cities of all time. So welcome to the live, y'all. Welcome to the live. So yeah, I want to talk up to you guys about three things. So three things I want to teach you guys and talk about tonight. That took me years to learn in this industry. And at the end, I also have a really, really major announcement that I'm going to be sharing with you guys. So definitely want to stay to the end. I'm not going to be on here long. My lives don't be long like that. But you guys, as you guys know, I'm the retail genius. I have been in this industry since 2010. So almost 16 years, right? Yeah, 16 years. It will be 17 very, very soon. And I have built my own stores. I have built other people's stores. I have done coaching for half of my time and I've done consulting for another half. And the number one question I get more than product questions, more than marketing questions is how do I actually open a beauty supply store? And I tend to answer it mostly on my trainings that I do, like standard trainings. I also have lots of conversations in the DMs and conversations throughout my content, whether you're here watching me on YouTube or you're watching me on Instagram. I literally have shared this information for a very, very long time. My YouTube page started, I don't even know, 8 years ago, something like that. And it just started of me sharing my journey in my beauty supply store. Like my first video was talking about how I was called upon the SBA to have a conversation about having a retail business, right? So tonight I want to share with you some insight into what I've learned over the past 15 years. And I'm going to be very transparent, as I have been very recently, because the beauty supply industry is a very serious wealth building opportunity that I just don't feel like most people understand. And a lot of the information out there or on YouTube is very general basic information or just incorrect, right? So I want to give you guys a few things that I wish someone would have told me when I was getting started and just some general things that you may want to be thinking about if you're someone who wants to actually get into the industry, right? So the first thing I wish someone told me when I was getting started is that you do not need a perfect credit score or a huge savings to open a beauty supply store. This is probably one of the biggest things, right? Because funding is a huge obstacle for, and if you believe that you have to liquidate your 401k or use your savings or use whatever money you have to open a beauty supply store, I'm going to tell you right now, you don't need to do that. I opened my first store by liquidating my 401k and getting investments from some of my family members. But liquidating that 401k is not something I need to do. I really wanted to take out a business loan. And I felt like because I didn't have like this perfect credit score that I wouldn't be able to qualify. So I didn't even look into it. I didn't even do any type of research to get a loan. And fast forward to now where we help Black women get funding, and we got 1.5 million in funding for Black women. I know now that I could have done things differently. I don't want to say mistake. I'm trying to avoid saying mistake, but I could have done things differently and I would have definitely had a different, better result. Right. And so the funding landscape for business owners is completely different from personal financing. Right. When you establish your business entity and you do it the right way, which again was a mistake that I did when I got started. When I got started, I did not set up my corporation. I did a DBA. I don't even know where I got that from, but I did a DBA. I did the paperwork. I did a DBA. Well, I know where I got that from. I was selling to hairstylists, and I was selling on, I was like setting up tables, and I was kind of selling, you know, out of my car, and that's where I got the bright idea to do a DBA. And so because I did a DBA, I did not have EIN number. I didn't have all the things I tell you guys to get. Okay. The proper way of doing this and the proper way of setting up your business legally is for you to form your LLC or your corporation. And then from there, you would get your EIN number from the IRS website. Okay. And then from there, you can get business banking accounts. You can, once you have your banking accounts, then you can get business credit cards and lines of credit, and you just open yourself up to a completely separate pool of capital that has nothing to do with your personal credit score. Okay. And there's different ways of doing that, right? But what we have seen with doing this work is that the lenders are going to evaluate your personal history, of course, but they're also going to be looking at the business and business plans, and there are SBA programs that we use. There's CDFI lenders, which are community development financial institutions, right? Micro loans. There's a strategy for most people who want to open a beauty supply store. It's just really understanding where to go, who to talk to, and what's required, right? The business plan and all that stuff, right? This is what we call OPM, and you've probably heard that term many a time, which is other people's money. Okay. So investors, partners, there's revenue-based financing if you have like an online space or you sell bundle stuff like that. There's different ways for you to be able to get this money. There's equipment leasing. There's a lot of things out there now. So the money to fund your beauty supply store exists. Okay. And so what most people are missing is not the capital, it is the knowledge of how to access it correctly. Okay. So that's gem number one. That's gem number one, right? You need to just make sure that you have the right roadmap and the right information when you guys are getting started, especially when it comes to funding your store. Okay, which is, like I said, it's the biggest thing, right? Once that is out the way, there's other things that will be in the way, but that is like the biggest thing that you want to get out the way. And that's one of the biggest things that we try to assist people with trying to navigate, right? Aside from us not being a bank ourselves, but having the right conversation, setting up the funding map, and understanding the lenders that you need to go to and have conversations with, right? That's what we try to facilitate. Um, the second thing that I want to mention is that beauty supply is not just retail, this is more of a community asset. And so this by itself is a mindset shift for most people because a lot of people approach this business as straight beauty supply, straight retail, and the framing of your beauty supply store will limit how much money you can make before you even open, right? And so here's the bigger picture. Here's the numbers. Black women in America spend over 9 billion annually on hair and beauty products, right? We are like the number one consumers, okay? Okay, that's not a trend, right? This is reoccurring, culturally driven, community rooted economy that's driven by Black women, primarily by Black women. And so these stores that are Asian owned literally have historically been dominating this market in this industry. And so it's now time for Black women to actually understand that when we build our community driven stores, like my store was a community driven store, everything in my store was something that someone in my community asked for, right? It was based on the data that I collected when I was selling out of my car, Okay. And so this is what it means to have a community driven store, right? A store that is rooted in the community, has no competition. And this is exactly how you want to go about building your stores. Okay. Our dollars, just think about this, guys, right? Our Black dollar in our community does not stay very long once we get it. The dollar in the Jewish community circulates 20 times before it leaves. The dollar in the Asian community circulates 14 times before it leaves. In the Black community, the numbers, it was something like less than an hour before it leaves. And we have to be able to change those numbers by owning actual assets within our community, by owning the block. I did a video, I did a little skit the other day about owning the block. And this is how our Black dollar can circulate in our communities when we go from manufacturing to retail to consumer, right? You're going from your Black owned beauty products, which we know, love, and trust, to your Black owned beauty supply store, to the Black consumer. That is how we strengthen the circulation of the dollar in the Black community. Okay. And so this is one thing that we have to have in our minds when are building our beauty supply stores, is that we want to build a store that is rooted in the community. Okay. Because this deserves, and Black women deserve for this to be done right. We deserve high level, high end beauty supply stores, beautiful, safe, luxurious spaces that we can feel safe shopping in, that we can have conversations, that we can have experience, and that we can have community. Okay, that is gem number two, creating that community. Um, and then the third thing, y'all, is understanding that ownership and operations are two different titles, two different jobs. And a lot of times when I speak with people like on my consults and calls like that, and they want to open a beauty supply store, but I already have a career or I already own other businesses. Um, I don't have time to be behind a register. I don't want you to be behind anybody's register. I don't want you to sign yourself up for a second job. I would never want anybody to do that. I don't want anybody to be behind anybody's register. Okay. Because when we are setting up stores for people, we are not just setting up a brick and mortar space. We're setting up an asset that can be able to run on its own, right? You want to teach this baby how to walk on its own. You want to create a real business, not a mom and pop beauty supply store. Okay. So understanding that right there, there's a fundamental difference between owning a business and operating one. And we don't want you to be the one that's operating the register. We want you to be the person who's behind major decisions, marketing, accounting, inventory, being the buyer of the business, right? Those are things that is going to help you scale your stores when you continue to sit in the seat of a CEO, not as someone who is going to be ringing people up behind a cash register. I don't want to never see you behind a cash register unless it's your grand opening and you are taking pictures. Okay? But on a day-to-day basis, you need to be in the driver's seat of this business because once you are behind that register, everything else that needs to happen in that business is going to halt because you're ringing somebody else. You're ringing people up. You're doing a job that someone who is in high school or college could be doing for you. Okay. And so if you are an investor, right, you want to make sure that when you are setting up your stores that you have the proper systems and that you have the proper people in place so this business can run and make you the money that you want it to make. Okay. And so y'all, I have been working and building something for several months now. It is going to be a complete game changer for those who want to invest in a beauty supply business. I am really excited about what's happening with my new company and the restructuring of my company. And I am going to be launching it very, very soon. I'm going to be launching it privately first, though. So I have, um, because I want to launch it privately, I have a list for you guys who are interested in joining this live launch of what I've been working on for a long time. And this is really just going to change the way we open stores, and it's going to get you there faster in a more efficient way um, with a super, super solid team behind you, the dream team behind you. And so, if this is something that you've been wanting to do and you've been wanting to work with me and my team, this is going to be the next best thing for you. So, I'm incredibly excited about it. I have been talking about it on my Instagram for a while. If you're on my Instagram, y'all know I've been talking about this for not for a while, a little hot second, but I've been doing a lot of creative things. If you guys are not following me on Instagram, by the way, my Instagram is at the Retail Genius and it's popping over there. It's popping over there. So go ahead and follow me, guys. I just dropped the link for my wait list for you to have a first front row seat at this launch and hear it from me first. I'm going to be doing a little private launch party. So I'm inviting everyone who's in my tribe to this launch party. I'm so excited about it. But I'm inviting everyone in my tribe to my little launch party. So there's the wait list for you guys to be invited to my launch party, which is going to be happening very, very soon. And yeah, stay tuned. Anyway, I will see you guys on the next live. Have a good night. Love you guys. Bye.